Looking for it, Dale. Oh, for the bright spot accumulation.
Don't go or do that. Do it.
Mayor Brook, Commissioner Sarah, Commissioner Vignola, Commissioner Simmons.
Here.
Vice Mayor Carter,
Present.
City Manager Goodrum.
Here.
City Attorney Hearn.
Here.
Not.
Allegiance. Good morning.
Morning, everybody. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Joshua, will you join me for the first proclamation? Yes. Great. Hey, good morning, Dale. Thank you. It's okay for you to read that. Good morning. So Beth, Renzo, if you guys will come on up, and we're going to share with you a proclamation. Guess Juan Carlos is not here yet? Okay, no problem. So the Sheriff's Foundation of Broward County's Broward County's Mental Health Summit 2019 is co-presented by Memorial Healthcare System and Ultimate Software. It brings together leading mental health providers in South Florida from different government, private practice, nonprofits, and academia to discuss and examine current issues related to mental health in Broward County. Commissioner Simmons will read the proclamation.
Good morning. Come on in. All right. Special proclamation, Broward Mental Health Summit Day. Mental health is essential to everyone's overall health and well-being. Mental illness affects thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and general interaction with others, and the stigma associated with mental illness must be addressed so that no one feels shame or disgrace in seeking help and treatment. With effective treatment and understanding, individuals with mental health conditions can recover to lead full, productive lives. As a community, it is important to improve awareness and understanding of mental health, the steps our citizens can take to protect their mental health, and the need for appropriate and accessible services for all people with mental health conditions. Therefore, we, the City Commission of Coral Springs, proclaim September 12th, 2019 as Broward Mental Health Summit Day.
Thank you. My name is Beth Taché. I'm the Vice Chair of the Broward Mental Health Summit. I want to go ahead and thank Mayor Brook, the commissioners, and all of Coral Springs City. Thank you so much for proclaiming September 12th as Broward Mental Health Summit Day. The summit is going to be next week. On September 12th, we are going to have breakout sessions. There are still tickets available. We would love to see everybody come out and participate. There's going to be all sorts of topics. It's an all-day event. It's from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m., and it's in Pembroke Pines at the Charles Dodge City Center. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer them, and all the information is on the website. Thank you again to everybody. We really appreciate it.
I'm going to go ahead and, yep, that'd be great.
Joy and I will share the handouts and the handshakes.
Excellent. Good morning, everyone. It's our quarterly time to recognize employees who go above and beyond to do a great job for the city, and I'm pleased to present several employees who will be recognized here this morning. We're going to call up the individuals one at a time from their department, and then I'll also recognize a few of the employees that couldn't be here today. Freddie Aguilar, Public Works.
Freddie's an excellent racquetball player.
We know. Come on down, Freddie. Thanks. Marcus Cullen, Development Services. Stephanie Dorset, Police Department. Let's go. Kathy Murphy, Development Services. Neera Sankar, Development Services. And we have a couple more. Justine Santiago, Police Department. Nope. And Nicholas Stratton, Police Department. There were a few other employees who had let us know ahead of time they couldn't be here. They are Sean Burst of the Police Department, Elizabeth D. Benedetto of the Police Department, and Joan Dowling of Parks and Recreation. Let's give them all a round of applause.
So on behalf of the City Commission, I just want to say thank you for your outstanding performance. Thank you for working for the city as much and as well as you do. We really appreciate your standard of service to our city, and thank you so much.
Freddie's an expert. It's a veteran move.
Yeah, Freddie.
Excuse me.
So if I may, since we recognized Mental Health Summit, I'd like to ask for your support for a proclamation for this month to be Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. The actual week is September the 14th.
Also cancer awareness, I think.
Yeah. And just a couple of stats to share with you all. One is that suicide is the second leading cause of death in the world and in the U.S. for those between the ages of 15 and 24. In 2015, the CDC estimated that 9.3 million adults, which is around 4% of the population, had suicidal thoughts in that 1 year of 2015 alone. So I'd like to make the proclamation and have representatives of FISP, any suicide awareness group, join us. FISP is the Florida Initiative for Suicide Prevention, at the next meeting. Is that okay with you all?
That's fine, but I also would like to say that I know at the last workshop we spoke about making sure that we kind of see what all the proclamations could be for that particular month, and then be able to pick those as well, so that we're not kind of ostracizing one particular group or picking one particular entity or organization over another. So I think I don't know if staff would like to maybe, or I don't know if staff would like to kind of present to us maybe a few major ones. I know like Joy just mentioned that it's Cancer Awareness Month. I mean, I don't know where it stops or where it ends. I'm supportive of that proclamation, but I know that we talked about this at the workshop, so I'm trying to make sure that we're doing what we say we were gonna do as a body from our workshop, so.
The only two organizations I know of offhand are Florida Initiative for Suicide Prevention and Mission Zero. But if there are other organizations that would be here to receive the proclamation, I don't have any problem.
Also Pain Awareness Month. That one I was so surprised.
I'm okay with us not doing
Any
a
objections?
proclamation for Pain Awareness
Comments?
Month, but
Mr. Mayor, I have no objection to the idea of recognizing and also raising awareness. I'm 100% behind that. But I echo what Commissioner Simmons said. We did discuss as a governing body that we would kind of present the proclamations, any resolutions that may come out, and have city staff vet them and, you know, make sure that we're recognizing and capturing any possible group out there. FISP is an amazing organization. You know that. I'm very involved in that, so I'm not objecting to it at all. But I just would like staff to have the opportunity to
No problem.
pursue,
Sure.
you know, every angle and vet every group.
Sounds good. Thank you.
I believe you have consensus.
I appreciate that.
I also want to just kind of make sure that we stick to our agenda, Mr. Mayor, and some, you know, we're not on communications right now, so I just want to make sure we stick to
You
our
got it.
agenda, sir.
It's time for public comment. Anybody here from the public wish to be heard? You have any signed speakers, Deborah?
No, Mayor?
I thought there was one earlier today. I got an email about it.
There.
All right, Emily, come on up. I received an email, but whatever you may have, you can give it to Deborah.
I do have these printed.
I'll take care of handing them out. Thank you. 8.
Okay.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for having me. This is beautiful.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so my name is Emily Lawless, and I'm with the Junior League of Boca Raton.
And your address, Emily?
Oh, 1415 Fan Palm Road, Boca Raton, Florida, 33432. Yes. So I'm in here in Coral Springs today because the Junior League of Boca Raton's diaper bank serves Palm Beach County and Broward County. So we distribute diapers throughout the two counties, and yeah, so I can read it to you. The Junior League of Boca Raton Diaper Bank ensures that low-income families in South Palm Beach and North Broward counties receive the necessary diapers our local children depend on. And so the idea to host Palm Beach County's only diaper bank came when the Junior League members learned that 1 in 3 families nationally are unable to provide diapers for their children, and more than 200,000 families living in the Boca Raton community and were regularly in need. So 1 in 3 American families report experience diaper need. Infants require up to 12 diapers per day, toddlers about 8. Disposable diapers can cost $70 to $80 per month per baby. There is no state or federal child safety net program that allocates dollars specifically for the purchase of diapers, and then free or subsidized facilities require parents to provide a day's supply of disposable diapers. So without diapers, babies cannot attend child care or participate in early childhood education. Without child care, mothers cannot go to school or work to further their education and provide for their families, and educated women and stable families are critical to solving the larger systemic problems facing our South Florida community. So I would like to declare September 23rd to September 29th as Diaper Needs Awareness Week, and we have done this in Deerfield Beach, Boca Raton, and I believe 2 other cities so far. And so we're hoping to make Coral Springs another city part of the, which is already National Diaper Needs Awareness Week. So,
Sounds
yes.
good to me. How about you guys? Do you want the city manager's office to vet it? Sounds good, Mike? You'll vet it and let us know?
I have the,
Okay.
I also printed it here. I sent it to Scott, and then I
You
put it
can
in
give
the
it to the city
comments.
clerk, but our city manager's office will take a look into it and we'll let you know.
Okay.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you for letting me speak.
You're welcome. Anyone else from the public like to be heard? All right, seeing none, public comment is closed. Public hearing, the first one is ordinance 2019-120, first reading water and sewer rates.
This is ordinance 2019-120, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Coral Springs, Florida, amending the Land Development Code of the City of Coral Springs to increase certain sewerage service rates and water rates, providing for codification, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. This is a request to hold hearing, approve, and set second reading for September 18, 2019. This is based on a water and wastewater rates study, so request open to the public. It's up to the manager, yeah. Well, we'll open it to the public. Anyone want to speak on this item? Okay. There's none.
All right, public comment is closed. Will I entertain a motion?
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor,
just-
please say aye.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to make sure that, like we had discussed at our last workshop, anytime we have a rate increase, that we continue through districts, our city staff, that we educate the end user on the rate increase and why. I think that's very important. Okay.
Sounds good. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Carries unanimously. Next is a consent agenda. Are there any polls?
I would like to pull 12. Mr. Mayor.
I'd like to pull 13. Any other polls? All right, is there a motion? Moved by Commissioner Vignola,
Second.
second by Commissioner Sarah. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Carries unanimously. Next is item number 12.
All right, so I asked this to be pulled just because I was really excited to see this on the agenda. This is something that I think will go a long way and start the process of making sure that we are taking advantage of opportunities that are out there to assist and help with our senior citizen population. I think, you know, if we get this designation as an age-friendly community, then, you know, our senior group will see that we're actually trying to do stuff for them and wanting to help them. So I would just like to move to approve.
Great.
I'd like to also comment and echo Commissioner Simmons' excitement about this. With other states like Massachusetts, New York, and Colorado blazing a trail, and Florida recently adopting this and giving our municipalities and cities a chance to make age-friendly communities. I think this is great that we're blazing a trail as a city, so I echo his endorsement.
You can't be more excited than me.
Yes.
And my committee.
No, absolutely not as much as you, for sure.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'll second it. Fine.
All right, seconded by Commissioner Vignola. Carried unanimously. Next is number 13, request to approve the agreement between the City of Coral Springs and the CRA for General Administrative Service. Can I hear a presentation about this, please?
Mayor, we do not have a presentation because it was on the consent agenda. Christie can come up and just give a brief overview of this agreement.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
You know that Danielle Cohen left in March, and so the Economic Development Office has been doing all of the CRA administrative duties. We wanted to formalize it in an agreement, and so we looked to see exactly what those costs were associated with that position, and we came to a figure of $105,000, and then detailed all of the different administrative duties that will be under that contract.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll hear a motion to approve.
To approve.
Second. Moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Next is policy formation and direction, number 14.
This is ordinance 2019-114, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Coral Springs, Florida, amending Chapter 2, Article 8 of the Code of the City of Coral Springs entitled Purchasing and Procurement to increase the purchasing authority of the purchasing manager from 40,000 to 45,000, increasing the authority for the purchasing manager to execute renewal contracts from 40,000 to 45,000, increasing the purchasing authority of the city manager from 40,000 to 45,000, and amending various sections for consistency with the increases, providing for codification, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. You had first reading and public hearing at the last meeting. This is a request to adopt and approve.
Is there a motion? Public hearing? There's no
No
public
public
hearing
hearing,
for
second reading.
It's moved by Commissioner Simmons,
Second.
seconded by Vice Mayor Carter. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Carries unanimously. Next is item number 15.
Ordinance 2019-121, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Coral Springs, Florida, amending various sections of Chapter 25 of the Land Development Code of the City of Coral Springs to modify regulations relating to fences, walls, and hedges, accessory structures, and storage, providing for codification, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. Again, it's second reading, request to adopt and approve.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion. Moved by Commissioner Vignola,
Second.
second by Commissioner Sarah. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Carries unanimously. Next item is number 16.
Ordinance number 2019-123, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Coral Springs, Florida, amending Section 3-5 of the Code of the City of Coral Springs entitled Parks and Recreation Administrative and User Fees to amend the rate structure for field court rentals, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date. Request to adopt and approve.
Move to approve.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Carries unanimously. Next item is number 17, Resolution 2019-039.
This is a resolution of the commission authorizing the allocation of public funds for a school resource officer at the Coral Springs Charter School, providing for an effective date. This is something we've already been doing, but the school board has asked us to do it in a resolution form. That's why it's before you.
It's a request to approve. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
And to adopt. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, carries unanimously. Next is item number 18, Neighborhood Partnership Agreement with Patios of Oakwood.
Yep. I don't know if anyone's coming up or not, but that's what the request is.
Good morning.
Sorry, the HOA president was unable to come this morning. She'd originally planned to be here to say thank you for this. This is actually our 130th formal partnership, so we're glad that this program keeps going. They're going to be replacing some hedging along University Drive, helping to look things better, especially right at the entryway of the city. This is a great project. We'll be replacing with some new Calusia hedges, so we look forward to getting started with them on this.
Good, thank you, Julie. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries unanimously. Next item is item number 19.
This is a request to award the contract for 2019-20 property and casualty insurance with FMIT, the Florida Municipal Insurance Trust, on a sole source basis beginning October 1st, 2019 through September 30th, 2020. The annual premium being $2.3 million for fiscal year 2019-20. This includes all of our real and personal property, premises and operations liability, vehicle liability. This is all our insurance we've bundled with FMIT. And just as an update, when we got into tropical storm watch, they did send a member down. FMIT has a very aggressive and proactive hurricane protection. They stayed with us in the EOC, and they also offer us immediate access to $500,000 to preserve any damage to our buildings to ensure it doesn't happen. So we've gone out to bid several years ago, and we've found that this is the only policy that can do the things that they do. They're, as you know, they're not-for-profit and really rely on the insurance premiums from several cities in the state. So this is a request to authorize the approval for this year.
So there was no bid?
No,
request for bids?
we went out to bid several years ago, and we checked the market this year just tentatively, and there's really very few companies out there that do this at all. And if you look around in our cities, FMIT is the one that really people have used. We're going to look at this in the future. We were coming off a 2-year frozen premium last year, and so we're going to look at this again to see if there's anything out there in the market for next year as well.
And how much did we pay last year?
I think we're up 11% total. Yeah, overall, we're up 11%, which a lot of that was obviously the hurricane experience the last couple of years.
Sure.
And also, we had an increase in police officers as well, so our workers' compensation was up based on that, too.
Understood. Is there a motion to award?
Moved.
Moved
Second.
and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries unanimously. Next is item number 20.
This is a roofing supplies, and if you need any further information, Rich Mashad is here to give
Does
that.
anybody need Rich Mashad to come up? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Any second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Carries unanimously. Next item is item number 21, HVAC and chiller preventive maintenance and unit replacement services. Does anybody need Rich Mashad to come up for this one? Okay, is there a motion?
I'll move it.
Moved?
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Carries unanimously. Next item is item number 22, an appointment to the CRA. There were, I think, 11 applicants. Request to appoint one.
I
And are
think-
any of the applicants here? Okay. And your name? Very nice to meet you. Thank you for
Maybe.
being here.
Well, coincidentally, since we were looking for urban planning and economic development, Mr. Baby is the only candidate that meets all those qualifications. He was my first choice.
So may I take that as a motion to approve Mr. Beebe as the appointment for the CRA?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. Any discussion? Okay, no discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? You are aboard unanimously. Congratulations and
Welcome.
thank you for applying. And we look forward to working with you. And thanks for showing up. Appreciate that. Thank you, Joy. Next item is item number 23, discussion on Amendment 4, restoration of voting rights for ex-felons. Commissioner Simmons.
All right, so thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know you're doing something right if the subject of your message gives you a phone call. And when you do call back, they make sure to pick up to have a 20-minute discussion with you. So I spoke with State Attorney Mike Satz about this issue. Apparently, the message was sent to him, and so we spoke. And so I'm going to withdraw I guess, it wasn't really a motion, I guess my request to have a resolution from this board. And I will say that, he agreed with my sentiments, but he'd rather wait for the Florida Supreme Court to kind of make their legal opinion on if this should be something that felons should have to pay in order to vote, and it's just court costs and fees, not restitution. And so he's going to wait for them to give their legal opinion. I believe the governor had asked them to give a legal opinion on this situation, and so he wants to wait for that, because what he doesn't want to do is create almost like a hodgepodge things of where, someone votes and they're a felon, but according to the state, they shouldn't have the right to vote. So then the election could be contested and kind of things like that. So, just kind of give you the gist of the conversation. So I'm going to withdraw my request on that.
All right, thank you, Commissioner.
And Mayor, just as an update, there is currently a federal lawsuit filed in federal court on this by plaintiffs who are saying that this new state law, Senate bill that was passed, is unconstitutional as well. So there's a couple court rulings that can be expected on this.
Okay. We're on to commission communications. You would want to continue, Commissioner?
Sure. I guess right away I'll say, first and foremost to our Public Safety Department and our Emergency Operations Centers and all the staff that put in the time and hours to kind of sit and prepare for a potential storm or hurricane coming our way. Just thank you for your sacrifice and your time and your energy and your preparation. I know that we have a system that is top-notch and that few can compare with, so we're very appreciative of you all giving that time and dedication to making sure that we're all safe here. Second, obviously, the Bahamas. I don't know what to say. I mean, the images are starting to come back. Interestingly enough, my fiance, one of her friends, who's going to be her bridesmaid, actually came this weekend to hang out with us for my fiance's birthday, and she flew just a few days before landfall. And so, she has family there as well. And it's devastating what's happening there. So to just be short and brief, and I would say that I hope that we can become a collection center, if possible, ask that residents who have a surplus, I should say, of hurricane supplies, because we know there are some that do, to bring them to City Hall and maybe, or not City Hall, but
There are
If we
collection
could,
sites
just,
locally.
well, because I know there's some cities that have done it or doing it, and so.
So
There's
we'll
like
go to Mike
4.
next.
yeah, I would just, and this is kind of our first, we just came off of shifts late yesterday, so we're working this through internally, but if we could just not come to City Hall at this point, we've got some work to do on our end. Right now, what our focus is, there's a lot of groups that are out there, and a lot of collection sites in the city, so we're pushing out for where people can go, but a decision has not been made at this point to open up City Hall as a collection site.
All right, that's fine. All this is just a request, and however it needs to be shaped and presented in a way that is feasible for the city to handle, I'm fine with that. So if it's the aggregation of collection sites that are being sent out, that's fine too. The same problem is being resolved that way. And then something for us to pursue later down the line. I get it, and granted, I'm asking this knowing very well that you all are just coming off of literally being, holed up for days and days and days. But this is just something to think about going forward. And I've spoken to a few city officials in our neighboring areas about doing a one-time charity event, whatever that looks like, however that can look like, but proceeds that are, I guess, taken from that event, given to, the charity that the country itself, which I know has been circulating, that they approved it themselves to receive those donations. That's something down the line.
So,
And I'm done.
so Commissioner, that gives me the thought, is there a possibility, Mike, I'd ask you to look into it if it's okay with my colleagues, that at the Bites and Sips event on the 14th, could there be a location there to drop off?
And again, if that's
Yeah, so, we have different options. We could look at those events being like a fundraiser event, like you just said, Commissioner Simmons. We've got to also see what the needs are. At that point, is it still water bottles and diapers, or is it financial funds? So we'll be able to organize all that and get the appropriate information out.
Sounds good. Thank you. Who'd like to go next?
I will.
Okay.
So I have a question on Eric Ross's hate initiative that he presented to you and you signed. Are we going forward to approve that as a group, or
We can ask.
what's the plan?
That'd be fine. Are you all familiar with the hate initiative? So if we can get an email to everybody about that and bring that up at the next commission meeting, I'd appreciate that.
Okay. Yeah, I will, the 18th, I will be here.
You won't be here.
I will be.
Okay. You'll be back.
I'll be back the night before. Okay.
Thank you for that follow-up.
I also want to say amazing job to Coral Springs, Alex, Lynn, Carla, and public information officers. You were stellar in your announcements. Frank, Clyde, your leadership, Michael, was just impressive. I felt very comfortable. Those 22-page reports were mind-blowing. But it gave me great comfort, for people to be able to reach out, and we had the information to share with them, so I'm very grateful. Lastly, Hurricane Dorian scams. you know, our hearts are pulled to see the devastation that occurred in the Bahamas, but we have to still be vigilant. There are many people that are going to try to take advantage of you. I saw so many false postings on Facebook during the storm, so you have to be careful. I mean, obviously you can't go wrong with the American Red Cross. There are some donation pickup centers already here in Coral Springs. There's the Residence Inn over in Coconut Creek, Wings Plus, and John Biggie is putting a plane together to take over supplies. So there are legitimate good ones. My office is raising $5,000 to send over for medical supplies and cash because that's what they're going to need. But just be cautious, you know, think twice. Just because a friend sent it to you, I saw so many things forwarded that should not have been forwarded. So think twice and be safe. And I'll miss you guys, Mr. Mayor.
No walk for you this Saturday morning.
No walk.
Good for you. Larry, would you like to go next?
I will go ahead. Just again, want to thank staff for doing everything you do to make sure that our city is ready to go. God forbid we were to take a big hit. Very confident in the men and women that lead the city behind the scenes and being prepared in every way, shape, or form. Thank you for spending your Labor Day weekend making sure that everything is taken care of. Just want to talk about Coral Springs Youth Soccer has its 2 more registrations coming up on September 10th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and then again on September 14th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. over at Cypress Hammock Park. You can also, if you're a returning player, you can register at csys.org. You can also go there for more information. With that, if anyone would like to speak to me about any city-related issues, please call me on my cell at 954-632-7544. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Sean?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We just want to echo what everyone else has said with our emergency management team and public safety. You guys did a phenomenal job, not only from a social media standpoint, being proactively getting out videos and messages to our residents, but with the updates and just top to bottom, just phenomenal job. As far as those impacted by Hurricane Dorian, I mean, in all my years of being a resident of Coral Springs and just Florida in general, I've never seen a storm like that before. You know, just never really could predict which way it was going to go, and we know there were a lot of people that were deeply impacted in the Bahamas. So I support all the initiatives and ideas that we have as city staff when it's presented, and I encourage all of our residents to, you know, just dig deep and try to support our family and friends in the Bahamas because yeah, I just can't even imagine what they're going through right now. I also wanted to give a special plug to Rick Engel and the Parks and Recreation staff. I enjoyed my tour with Melissa last week before the storm hit, and I'm very excited about the future of our parks and the direction that we're going. I encourage people to come out to the ribbon cutting that's going to be taking place on the 13th before the game between Coral Springs Charter and Coral Glades. The artificial turf out there looks great, and super excited about some of the ideas that the commission has put forward to better manage our parks along with the staff direction and input. So great job. Lastly, I just want to give out my cell phone number as well. My number is 954-612-7114. With my schedule, I don't have like dedicated office hours, but I'm very committed to getting together with you. So if you reach out either by email or by phone, I will make the time to connect and be with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought our city up and down did such a thorough, amazing job in getting ready for the hurricane, staying in communication during the hurricane. I had very few residents reach out to me feeling nervous or, you know, somehow that they weren't being in communication with, and I just thought that we were very, very well prepared. The Saturday morning meeting that we went to is very good, and I think we are second to none, you know, with what you guys have been up to. So thank you for keeping us safe and dedicating your weekend and so many hours to our city. There is a 5K fun run to honor Saturday morning. Is it for 911? Then, Melissa, are you aware of that? The fun run?
Rick is.
Canceled.
Oh, it's canceled?
The fun run this Saturday is going to be postponed, and we're tentatively moving it to September 28th. We're working out those details and get those as soon as we can to you.
Maybe 9/28. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. There is an exhibit, I don't know if the commission has received this yet, Anguish in the Aftermath at the Coral Springs Museum of Art. We've been invited to the reception, the opening reception. And if you're not familiar with it, it's going to be very powerful, very impactful, and it is a display of photographs that were taken by Ian Whitland shortly after the disaster at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, with the approval of everybody that was filmed. And the exhibit is very moving. I saw a glimpse of it upstairs, and within 30 seconds, I was very moved. And it's going to be a great way for our city and the city of Parkland to be able to share with the world, because this exhibit will be moving around the world, so that people won't forget, and we'll continue to focus on solutions to this tragedy. It's going to be Thursday, September 26th, from 6 to 8 p.m. is the opening. So I hope all of you can join me there for the opening with the artist at the museum. And the exhibition will continue through November 9 at the Coral Springs Museum of Art. And lastly, my office hours are posted on the website. They're usually about 3 times a month. Next Monday, I'll be at New York Bagel Factory. You can contact Randy at 344-5906 for an appointment. My cell phone, in case anybody needs me, is 954-696-7599. And now we're on to City Manager's communication.
Thank you. I wanted to thank our staff for their response to the hurricane and all the work they put in. Also want to thank their families, because it's a tough situation when our staff's children and spouses see their mom or dad leave whenever they're probably most scared. So that's a huge sacrifice. I want to thank all of our staff and their families for going through. We'll have a memo to the commission later this week on just what our efforts are for supporting the Bahamas. I know internally with staff we've got some, but as far as incorporating the other events, also like to have Frank Babinet come up and just give a brief overview, and then Rich Mashad after that to discuss solid waste.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chief.
So I just want to give you guys a kind of a snapshot of what the last week has looked like. As we started to see the storm had a possibility of heading this way, we started to monitor the movement and the forecast. After we monitored the storm, we start to put the departments on notice. Hey, there is an opportunity for this storm to hit us. We need to start getting our hurricane plans out. We need to start getting preparations ready. So if we do go into activation, all of that is ready to go. We ramp up communications. So for example, we started monitoring the storm probably Tuesday, Wednesday last week, and then we start ramping up our communications both internally and to the public, letting them know, reminding them of safety procedures and precautions they need to do while getting ready, the fact that they need to get ready. One of the things I can tell you is I think a lot of people initially took this storm very seriously, as they should have. They went out and got their supplies. So when the storm actually slowed down and the stores were still open, the stores really weren't overwhelmed at that point, because people had taken it seriously and they had gone out. And I really would like to commend the public for that, because they did take the storm seriously and started to prepare themselves. We start to put our plans in place for call centers, so folks can call in and get information. Those call centers are staffed with our employees that have information that comes out from our PIO section, which is constantly working to get messaging together. We start to hold internal meetings with all of the departments and our partners. For example, the water districts, the hospital, and all of those folks that we're going to be working closely with. So we start to hold those meetings. Once we start to see the storm has an opportunity to hit us, or it may hit us, then we start to go into the readiness mode. That's where we start to actually exercise those plans. Our emergency operation plan for the city is probably about this thick, every department has a section in there, and they go out and they exercise those plans that were built in a time when they had the time to build them. We don't wait till the last minute to kind of come up with these things. We start to monitor and reach out to our vulnerable population. We have a registry where we know that there's folks that need a little extra help. We start to reach out to them to see what's going on. We reach out to our ALFs and all of those facilities to make sure they're properly prepared. As we know from what happened in Hollywood, we want to, we don't want the storm to be more tragic than it actually could because of lack of preparedness. So after we do that, we went into activation on Sunday morning at 0700 hours, where we went into full activation mode. We were in partial activation Friday and Saturday, kind of getting things together, but we went full activation on Sunday morning. We monitored the shelters for Broward County, 2 shelters. One actually opened, the other one was prepared to open, was Coral Glades, but they never opened that, so we have to help out with that when that goes into place. We go into what's called 12-hour operational periods. Every 12 hours, we have an incident action plan that's published. Everybody knows what they're expected to do for the next 12 hours, and they kind of follow that as their script. It is fluid, however. If things change, we're able to go in and make those changes. We really monitor the protective measures at that place until the storm makes landfall. Fortunately for us, the storm didn't make landfall. Communication is extremely important. As you guys said, social media is probably the biggest outlet for us. So our PIO section just does an amazing job. That table sits back there and they monitor all the social media outlets. They get the information from the call centers. They push out answers to questions, and they proactively put information out there. So that's extremely, extremely important. And then we start going into demobilization, which we did last night. We were demobilized by 7 p.m. last night. That's where we start to break down all the additional staff that came in, all the preparations that were put in place. We kind of start backing those down, packing up our hurricane supplies. We have hurricane supplies just like everybody else. We have to pack those up and put those back in storage, and hopefully they don't come back out. But we're still in the process of demobilizing. That'll take place over the next couple of days. Hopefully by Friday we'll be done with all of that. And then we get into recovery, which Rich will come up and talk a little bit about the recovery of what this storm itself will entail. We talked a little bit about helping out others in police and fire arena, PIO, dispatch. They reach out sometimes and ask for help. We do have 2 members of the fire department that are deployed right now as part of USAR Task Force 2. They are scheduled to be in the Bahamas this morning, and they'll get on the ground and start to see what they can do. And I foresee additional FEMA resources going over. A lot of questions, I've been getting a lot of questions from other fire departments. Hey, are we sending people over? We can't, it's another country. So you have to go through the State Department. It's not like it's a U.S. territory where you have the right. And when you get over there, you can't just bring people back to the U.S. for help. There has to be a process in place. I can tell you the state is looking at that process. I was on a conference call yesterday. And then I talked to the Broward Hospital District last night. They're ready to receive those patients, and they're ready to put that process in place. So you're going to see over the next couple of days where those folks are starting to hopefully get some of the help that they need. We do anticipate further deployment, and I'll keep City Manager Goodrum up to that so he can keep you informed. We will have on our website later today, the city's website, those folks that we've been able to vet and are taking aid for the Bahamas. Liz and her folks are working on that right now, and they'll have that on the city's website this afternoon. We had some injuries from the storm, nothing serious, people putting shutters up, falling off ladders, those types of things. We did have several of those, but nothing that was life-threatening, and we obviously had no damage that was reported from the storm. Chief, you have anything else?
I just echo a lot what the fire chief said. First of all, thank you guys for the kind words, but really the appreciation should go to the people, the men and women that were out there doing the actual labor and the hard work. It's easy to sit up in the EOC and fill out forms and do paperwork, but to be out there and deal with the people at Home Depot, whether they're in panic mode, to the Parks and Rec guys, to the streets guys, again, phenomenal job. And to build on that, one thing I would like to just say is if you guys have any suggestions, comments, the public has any suggestions or comments, the one thing I think we've always done as a city better than most is not just sit and say, well, we did a good job and let's just settle for that. we've always looked at it and said, what can we do better? So I will tell you that we've learned time and time again, either from our incidents or other incidents. So I'll put that out to you guys and out to the public. Please reach out to us. Now is the time for us to hear that, so we can put that in our after action and get better into the future. So thank you for
Mr.
that.
Mayor, can I make a comment?
Yes.
So, Frank, one of the most valuable pieces of information I found from you, I know this is going to sound silly, but everybody was asking for sandbags. And I know there was a limit on the amount that you could get from other cities. What impressed me was you said to be effective, you would need 30. And
Well, that was an example of my house, for
Right.
example, right? Because for those to be effective, you have to be able to put them in front of every opening on your home that's lower
Right.
to the ground. So if you have sliding glass doors along the whole back of your house, they all have to have sandbags. The garage door, the front door. So what we would recommend is if that is part of what you want to do to protect your home, that needs to be part of your preparation. You need to have those on property, and you need to have the ability to deploy those just like you would shutters or anything else. If we put a sandbag program in place for the city and said, you know something, we're gonna give everybody 5 sandbags. Okay, that's 5 sandbags, that'll do your front door. What are you gonna do with the rest of the openings?
Right.
So, sandbags are effective if you have enough of them and you've planned ahead of time and have the ability to get the amount that you would need for your particular situation.
so that's the suggestion, plan ahead.
Plan
That's
ahead.
what we need to tell them.
Morning.
Morning, Rich.
I just want to begin by echoing the compliments to the entire emergency management team. They all did a great job, and especially the marketing staff who helped me a lot with the most frequently asked questions, which was about solid waste service. So I want to begin with reading one of the press releases they put out just yesterday regarding important Waste Pro service update, so that I stay on message about the services provided by Waste Pro today and ongoing. Waste Pro has been authorized by the City of Coral Springs to extend hours of service to accommodate solid waste volume as a result of the threat of Hurricane Dorian. Waste Pro's service resumed today, and we ask if your residential trash collection is Wednesday, please have your green card out by 6 a.m. Important, this is kitchen garbage only. If you have overflow garbage bags that do not fit inside your green cart, place them next to the green cart. A second garbage truck will make a pass through to collect that waste. Waste Pro will not collect recycling, bulk, trash, or yard waste until Monday, September the 9th. Multifamily communities and businesses with front-loading compactors or dumpsters will have extended collection hours starting tomorrow, which is today, to alleviate garbage overflow, which will continue through Saturday, September the 14th. These communities and businesses can expect trash collection service as early as 3 a.m. and as late as 8 p.m. Waste Pro representatives are working directly with Public Works staff to communicate at the end of each collection day about communities that may not have been serviced. Communities which may be missed due to garbage volume can expect Waste Pro to return the next day of collection. If you have an issue with collection, you can submit it online. There's a link on the website to where to submit your request to Waste Pro. The waste transfer station will reopen on Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. It is the first Saturday of the month, so we'll have the limited hazardous waste collection. And the transfer station is also open on Sunday from noon to 5. So I want to go back to the statement I began with, was the extended hours. So by code, Waste Pro is only allowed to collect garbage from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The city attorney advised the city manager that under section 8-6 of the code, the hours of collection for garbage, trash, and construction waste may deviate in an emergency situation with the prior approval of the city manager. The city manager did send an email to Waste Pro Vice President Russell Mackey yesterday to allow the extension of hours. As I mentioned, the Waste Pro is now saying, the press release is saying that they can begin garbage collection as early as 6 a.m. for residential and as late as 8 p.m. in the evening for residential. Now, I can tell you that may generate some calls, because if you hear that truck coming at 6 a.m. and you're not used to it, it may wake you up. But in the evening time, it's not so much of an issue, but they need those additional hours to kind of catch up. And really, this week, it's all about getting caught up on the municipal solid waste, which is your kitchen garbage. So if you were a Monday or Tuesday route, you didn't get service this week, there's the allowance to put those garbage bags at the base of your green cart. So the first truck goes through, the automated truck picks the cart up, will leave those bags next to the green cart. Another truck's coming behind it. At some point, they're getting those bags on the ground. So the additional labor required to run that second truck is kind of the reasons why we're not running bulk, yard waste, or recycling collection this week. That's going to resume next week, assuming we get all caught up with the raw garbage, which is the most important item to collect from your house is the raw garbage. So having said that, do you have any questions?
I do.
Yes.
So I thought the storm wasn't coming, so I decided to do yard work, and then I figured it might be coming, so I needed to get that yard work to the waste dump, which I did. I was floored when I saw the mountain of appliances and furniture and the landscape. How did they secure that?
So that was put out on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of last week?
So that was, no, I went to our transfer station.
Oh, you brought it to the transfer
And,
station?
yeah, I took it there, right? And when I saw all those appliances and furniture, and it was like a mountain. How did they, because that was like right before the storm.
Well, I would have hoped that they had a tarp to put over the top of those roll-off containers or were able to haul it to the dump, but I did not get a report of that being a problem.
I was just curious.
Any other questions for anybody? All right, thank you, gentlemen. City Manager, anything further?
That's it. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. The Attorney?
Thank you, Mayor. So on the same topic, we were all at a workshop on August 28th when we found out that the governor had declared a state of emergency. As I sent to everybody, and as we discussed that day, I met with the mayor, and we signed our declaration of state of emergency the next morning, or on August 29th, effective for 8 a.m. that day. Again, this would have allowed us to do many certain things if the event came directly towards us. The only thing that I think we've done that's differently from looking at our ordinances is what Rich just said. Mike's authorized that, and he had authority under our ordinances. It also opens up the EOC and allows us to do certain things with FEMA having the state of emergency. Now that state of emergency is done, Mayor will have paperwork for you, but what our state of emergency and what our ordinance says is that this declaration of emergency and all emergency orders, which we didn't have any others, and regulations enacted or rescinded shall be confirmed by the City Commission at the next regular scheduled meeting. So what I'd ask here is simply a motion approving, ratifying the actions of declaring the state of emergency.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Carries unanimously.
Thank you all, and that's all I have.
All right, looks like we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.